Right, I think we all realise Manchester United have been looking for a right-sided centre-half basically since Erik ten Hag stepped foot through the door. We have seen Varane, for the most part, be first choice and actually put in some excellent performances at times. But the level of consistency and the level of injuries that he's had haven't really been up to scratch. And he's probably moved down in the pecking order, appearing less and less frequently. And even Harry Maguire, who's performed okay in recent weeks, looks like he might have leapfrogged him in the pecking order. There are still serious long-term doubts about his future, Harry Maguire's. But I think what we can be absolutely certain of is Erik ten Hag requires a right-sided defender that's going to come in and play the system reliably and not have some of the weaknesses that Harry Maguire's got. So, with right-side centre-half being an absolutely huge need, it's time for us to look at who United's priority signing should be in the upcoming January window if we're actually going to bring anybody in. Supposedly the name of that player has already been decided, and that player is Jean-Clair Todibo. Let me explain why and how I think he will fit in.
This video is proudly sponsored by TenTrade. Get ready for a game-changing opportunity with their funded trader program. It's your chance to trade with TenTrade's funds while gaining valuable trading experience and skills and earning extra income from your positions. This program, available exclusively on the MT5 trading platform, empowers traders to put their skills, market knowledge, and strategies into action. Joining is a breeze. All you got to do is click the link in the description and enjoy free access to 10 Academy's ebooks, online courses, webinars, and essential tools. But the best part, when you hit your trading targets, you can earn a scaled up account of up to $500,000 and take home 70% of the profits from your successful trades. Don't miss on this extraordinary opportunity. Click the link in the description for more information about the TenTrade funded trader program.
Now, a modern day centre-back should really have 3 of 4 assets in order to excel at the highest level. Pace and power is an absolute must at the moment, and a defender that has got recovery pace is a huge asset. Basically, Kyle Walker's major asset in the defensive line at Manchester City is that not really anyone is going to get past him. And one of the major weaknesses of what Manchester City's system is, or certainly was, is that because it's so high, because it looks to play entirely in the opposition half, that you have got a whole half of the pitch to run into. And if you don't have players with recovery pace, well, that becomes more and more frequent and more dangerous. One of the areas that Harry Maguire struggles is recovery pace. And that's so obvious when you see him played on the halfway line. So I think the first thing that any new centre-half that we're bringing in should have is pace and power. Secondly, the ability to progress the ball through dribbles and or passing. Increasingly, the game at centre-half has become about how you dictate with the ball. Have you got the ability to move the ball quickly? Can you get it moved up the pitch? Whether that, like I said, is via dribbling it, which we are seeing a lot more of, because it's sometimes seen as a little bit of a safer option than a pass, or by passing. Number 3, and this kind of goes a little bit with the pace and power, but you can have pace and power but not have the scanning ability, and that's the channel coverage. And I'd go further than that with the channel coverage. I'd say the awareness to cover those channels. So one of the areas where I think Harry Maguire struggles, and I think actually Martinez and Varane really excel in, is their ability to cover the 10 metres left and right behind themselves, because they're constantly checking, constantly scanning. They know what's around them. They know where players might potentially look to run, and they're able to get there and cover those areas. And like I said, it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with pace and power, but you can have all the pace and all the power in the world, but if you're not checking your shoulder and seeing what's coming behind you, you're never going to get onto those balls. So it's not quite the same thing, and it's a little bit of an overlap, but it's still something that's absolutely vital, and it's the ability to be side on, be aware of what's going on around you, and get ready and go and cover those channels. Increasingly, you're seeing fullbacks pushed up, high and wide, or even inverted, which means that the centre-halves, quite often there's 2 or 3 of them in a line, and you've got to be able to cover out into those areas, because you will see wingers left high and wide trying to give themselves as much space to run into and even afford a bad touch, because they'll only be really getting chased down by a centre-half. So it's worth having a look at some of those as well. And then the final thing is aerial prowess. Now, that is where Harry Maguire absolutely excels. And you do need it. And Lisandro Martinez, I think, is fantastic with the pace, the power, the channel coverage, and the ball progression. Struggles a little bit, even though he wins a lot of aerials. I think a lot of that is through cleverness and positioning rather than out and out just physical dominance. Harry Maguire is the opposite in that he wins a lot of headers through pure physical dominance. But I still think you need at least one. You can't have two, 6 foot or 5'10" centre halves. That's not going to work. So we definitely need someone that is going to be an absolute beast in the air. Now, the good thing for Todibo is he's got at least 3 of those. So let's look into his tendencies and his general attributes. He steps into midfield confidently, and he waits for the right moment to pass. He's among the top performers when it comes to progressive passes, 77 percentile, and passes attempted and completed, where he's in the top 9%. Managing a pretty good balance, I think, between risk and progress. Our build-up currently faces some issues because the right side of the defence struggles to progress the ball very effectively. Compared to Varane, Todibo does handle the pressure very well, especially with switching play abilities in that 3-1-6 that we spoke about last week, that we think Ten Hag wants to try and get back to, or potentially even an adaptation of that. He's very strong at progressing the ball through carries, ranks impressively in the 94th percentile for carry distance. He's exceptional when it comes to the dribbling skills, his close control, and it really helps him navigate the press. You do need occasionally a player to step in. It's the same when you're playing against a low block. When you're up against teams that are pressing really well, the pass actually can sometimes be telegraphed, can sometimes be very obvious. So someone that can just get it and carry it 10, 15 yards can be very, very useful to you. I would argue that his biggest strength lies in the fact that he is able to defend those wide areas, those channels fantastically, leveraging those superb physical attributes that he's got. He's got the strength, he's got the speed, and he's also got timing when it comes to tackles to really counter wide players effectively. His recovery speed is very crucial, and that's something that he is going to be a big asset about him. And it's probably the first thing you would notice if he did sign for United. I think you would really see that recovery speed early on. And he uses that to prevent counterattacks. The athleticism provides cover for a lot more aggressive play by the likes of a Martinez. One concern, I think, is the aerial ability, especially if he was to be accompanied by Martinez. He doesn't win enough headers for his size. For his height, I think he should be expected to win a lot more. In reality, it's a weak area of his game. Although it isn't fatal because there's not that much going on in the Premier League at the moment. Some of the lower down teams might go a little bit more direct and force it out of you. It's not the deal breaker that it once could have been. There is potential for Todibo to also transition into a right back role in the future, probably as an inverted right back. Within a free, supporting Luke Shaw's ability to maraud forward and support the left winger. I think that would be a quite useful tool for us. And I think he fits into the system like a glove. So again, I'll talk a little bit about what he brings and how that works for us in a positional sense. He is tailored for the high defensive line structure. He is perfect for it. He would thrive in it. Steps out from the back. He counter-presses opposition. He is an absolute ground duel winning monster. He does have good jumping in the air, even though he's not winning as many headers as you would probably hope, certainly not compared to the likes of Maguire. He has excellent recovery pace and sweeping ability, and he's good at man marking and breaking play in wider areas. Ticks a hell of a lot of boxes from a 1v1 defending point of view. He will allow us to have a much more formidable rest defence, someone that we can trust when the ball is going the other way, knowing that 1v1, he's probably going to be okay. United have been frequently exploited on counters and on transitions. Todibo literally helps alleviate that. He would slot in as the right side centre-half in a 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1 that we play, and the natural tendency to move towards the right when the fullback inverts would be a good thing for us. He can also play a right back where he would have good coverage of the wider area and the channels. And I think he would really help us with the build-up. Nice build-up currently with a 3-1 or a 3-2, with Todibo always lining up on the right-hand side of the three at the back. So he's got experience being effective in an area that we've already sort of identified Ten Hag's trying to play at Manchester United. He would be absolutely valuable slotting in that build-up. He finds the pass every single time. He almost does it in his sleep. He's involved constantly in short passing patterns. He recycles and he progresses the ball fantastically well. And he's been putting in an unprecedented number of passes, but also carries as well. Measured carries, getting into the defensive line and breaking that defensive line, making passes directly to the right winger. He's got mobility, he's got intensity, he's got the vision for a pass. It works. His on-ball game is probably one of his strengths. And as good as Varane is at defending the box, and he makes it look very easy, I think Todibo is an upgrade on him when it comes to possession, especially the switches and ball striking that you see with him. It's absolutely excellent. And he's only 23 years of age. Todibo can be viewed as a bit of a dual asset because he's got long-term potential, but also immediate impact. I would expect him to quickly become first-choice centre-half alongside Martinez, and he could play for a full decade. He could form a formidable partnership alongside Lisandro Martinez. He's already playing at a high level with more time, more growth. No reason to believe that he couldn't literally become one of the world's best. I think he would be a real asset for us. I like the fact that we're being linked with him. It excites me. Here's how he fits in. Let me know your thoughts. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.